So discipline, motivation, how can you get more of it and how can you more so stay on task? And in this video, I want to talk about and just give you my thought process on what has worked for me and what I've seen work for many others. Been doing this with the channel and then my site since 2013. So I have quite a bit of data points that show that if you take this approach, I mean, nobody can ever guarantee anything, but if you take the approach, then in my mind, you're giving yourself a good high probability chance to keep yourself motivated and to stay disciplined. And this all comes from actually a question I got on a YouTube video. So I want to read that just to give a little bit of context here and set up, what's going on and where the idea for this video is coming from. So on that note, I mean, that's why comments, always leave those envelopes, suggestions, questions. Of course, I can't say, yeah, for sure, I'll make a video on it. But hey, if something like this comes along and it's like, hey, that's a quality comment or good question, then I appreciate the help in creating content. But as Roman says, how can I be more self-disciplined? I'm 18 years old and honestly just need waking up. I just graduated high school and I as well have some day trading experience based on technical analysis. So Roman, first off, good for you. You're interested in this stuff. You're looking to hustle and grind. You're only 18, but definitely good for you. And at least you're self-aware. At least you understand that you're kind of lazy right now, right? And that's fine. It's okay to be lazy, but just don't sit there and be lazy, but tell yourself, oh, I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm not lacking motivation. I'm not lacking discipline. No. If you are, then acknowledge it. However, with that being the case, well, now you got to fix it. And Roman, you're asking a question. So what I want to just share with you, Roman, and anybody else, and you don't have to be 18. This can go with anything, but how do you stay self-disciplined? Where do you get motivation? How do you keep motivation? And for me, you basically have to work backwards. And Roman, to your credit, you already kind of got the little middle piece in there. But so over here, we have Roman. And Roman is, like I said, struggling with self-discipline, and he didn't say motivation, but that's basically what discipline is coming from is if you have great motivation, well, then it's going to be easy to say disciplined in that regard. So that's why I keep bringing in the word motivation there. But what I would say is, sit back, and I'm not necessarily talking to Roman because he's kind of already done this. Well, he hasn't done this part yet, but ask yourself, okay, well, let's look way over here. And what does this box look like? In other words, the L box, your life. What do you see your life looking at? What do you want your life to look like? How you envision it? What would be your ideal situation? And if your ideal situation is, I want to have a fleet full of Lamborghinis, cool. I want to have a private jet, cool. I want to live on 1,000 acres up in the mountains by myself, cool. I don't care, what is your ideal situation? What is something that you're like, that would be awesome. That would be so cool. So ask yourself that. Okay, whenever you have what that is, Roman, what in your mind would be an awesome life? What in your life would be so nice? And I'll share mine at this point, when I look out in the future, I just want to sleep. But yet I'm sleeping and I'm still making money. So at this point, my L box is filled with, passive income. I'm just focused right now on passive income. And that's what keeps me motivated, keeps me disciplined to keep hustling and grinding. Because I realize that the more hustling and grinding I do, the more the math builds up, specifically compounding interest. And then the more and more passive income you can get. And then passive income is literally a situation, I don't know the exact quote from Warren Buffett, but it's all about making money while you sleep, right? Because you're doing nothing and now money is still coming in. So that's my box. But again, to you as a viewer, to Roman, what is your ideal situation right now? You look out in the future, and what would that be? And you don't have to get it exactly right, but generally speaking, what's that going to look like? Now, some people would probably call this, and I would agree with this, what's your why? Why do you even need to be disciplined? Why do you even need to be motivated? Well, now you do, because you want some sort of the L box in your life is looking like. So then it just becomes a question of, okay, well, now let's work backwards to where you are right now. Well, how can you make that happen? What sort of choices, what sort of decisions are you going to have to make in order to get that L box to take place? And to Roman's point, he's identified day trading. Now, of course, this is not the only way to potentially make things happen, but at least he's figured out, okay, yeah, I got day trading, but I'm not being it's not very motivating. It's hard to be self-disciplined and all that. Well, I'm guessing, Roman, it's because you don't really have your why yet. You don't have an L box figured out on how day trading can actually get you to where you want to go over here. But you figure out that, and whatever your how is, it's going to be much easier to stick to. And of course, this could be applied to dieting, right? I want to be able to do a marathon. I want to be able to, bench press 300 pounds. I don't know what your, health and fitness type thing is over here, but you know what? That's your why. And well, how are you going to get to that? Well, you're going to have to obviously eat right. You're going to have some sort of workout regimen, et cetera, et cetera. But once you get the why, then sticking with that how is a lot better. But sometimes, and in many cases, this can be a little too broad, right? Well, I want to have a lot of money. It's like, okay, you want to have a lot of money. Why? What does a lot of money actually do for you? And again, well, if I have a lot of money, then I can have a private jet, and that would be awesome. Okay, now we're getting things narrowed down. And if you want to narrow things down to, okay, having a private jet would do what for you? Well, I can travel wherever I want. Okay, now we're making even more progress. Well, where do you want to travel? I think it'd be great to just get on my private jet and fly down to Miami, because I actually live up in Maine. Okay, do you see how you can narrow things down? And the more narrow you get, the more specific your L box gets. And it's like, okay, yeah, that would be sweet to have a private jet so I can fly and travel whenever I want, so that I could just travel down to Miami if I wanted, and when it's cold in Maine and there's snow everywhere. And there you go. Living in the mountains. Well, why? Well, because I like the outdoors. Well, how? Well, I like to just, hunt and fish, and I don't like people, so it gets me away from people, and okay, and you see, you can just break things down. But the more you get this narrowed down, the better you can figure out these hows. But then most importantly is the sticking to the hows, right? Because okay, that's great, you have day trading, but this is where you got to stay disciplined in whatever this is. So this is where you need discipline. In order to stay disciplined, as I said earlier, you need motivation, and that's where this is all going to come from. Is having some sort of goal, and a more specific goal. Not a broad, I want to have a lot of money. I want to have freedom. Those are good, don't get me wrong. That's fantastic. I want to have freedom. But freedom looks like what to you? Okay, and why do you want it to look like that to you? So you almost kind of want to FBI interrogate yourself in terms of, okay, but why? What would that allow you to do? Why would you want to do that? Before you know it, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. And boom, it's going to be that easier to stick to it. So Roman or other people that are maybe struggling with the discipline, the motivation, once more, congrats to you. At least you're being self-aware. At least you're acknowledging to yourself. At least you're not lying to yourself about it. But in terms of what I would recommend trying to get over that hurdle, find that L box, get relatively specific with it, and then it's going to be much easier to stick with things. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this answers your question and can maybe point you in a better direction for whatever's going on in your current situation. But like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, questions, comments, please leave those down below. You never know, that could spur another totally video that can help, that can get your question answered, and that can hopefully help other people out. So comments are always welcome. Also hit that like button, always appreciated. Check out the channel as a whole, and if you like what you see, then would love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. So get out there, figure out that L box, and get motivated, and stay disciplined. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.